it. I know they aren't going to pick it, but just seeing
Maybe
it,
they
man.
will.
You never know.
I'm
gonna be a
pretty
Zeri.
sure. Yeah, it's I'm glad that the crowd's behind me on this. Thank you. I appreciate all y'all.
Because Fudge isn't here, so he couldn't hear the booing.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's done. The pain he's caused you.
Hey,
How could he?
I take it as a shout out, man.
Okay.
I take it as a shout out.
That's good. Glass half full.
Exactly. Well, we've got Zeri locked in for C9. Over on the other side, the Senna and the Azir, two very powerful scaling options with a lot of range as the game goes on.
Yeah, Twitch hover, I think we've seen the success of Twitch and Zeri, but Senna has also been historically not necessarily a counter, but an answer to Zeri. And I think FBI in particular has been a very good Senna the past couple years.
And I also think Huhi plays the farming supports really well.
Yeah.
You know, like those kind of things are really in his wheelhouse. It's not just the TK. He's really great on things like the set that kind of fit that style of role. We saw the Mundo earlier today, which I think is another great option. I think there's actually a lot more than just Senna TK. I think Senna Mundo, Senna Scion, Senna Cho'Gath, like there's all kinds that you can experiment with depending upon the draft. So it'll be interesting to see if they are going to branch out a little bit. It is going to be Zeri plus Lulu again. This is like the TL draft that we just saw last time. Zeri, Lulu, GP as the first three.
Well, how's 100 Thieves going to answer? What gets paired with that Senna? If it's Senna Seraphine, remember that is what CLG played back in a little bit of that in week 1, right? Well, maybe they just don't want to go for completing the bottom lane at all. Maybe they care more about getting this priority over the junglers, but instead it looks like it's Senna's good old best friend, buddy. The Kench is unbenched.
Not a huge fan of this gut reaction because I think the double ranged I think is supposed to block the Tahm Kench, but there is a lot of comfort in playing these two together. The engage range of Tahm Kench recently is still very high with his W if they do gank that lane, but I'm expecting them to get pushed in by Zeri Lulu for a lot of the laning phase.
Yeah, I mean, I think so much of it just comes down to, you know, when you are playing Senna TK lanes is how good is your Senna at actually hitting pass-through Qs through the Tahm Kench? Because if you can consistently hit the Lulu or the Zeri with those Qs, it's such a health positive trade because you're dealing, you know, 100, 150 damage to your enemy while also healing 100, 150 to the Tahm Kench every single time you're doing it. If you're very active on that and you're very accurate with it, it's just almost impossible to push Tahm Kench out with the durability update.
Well, we do have mismatched roles in the first part of the draft here between the teams. Yes, it is both sides drafting their bottom lane, but then with top drafted by C9 and mid drafted by 100 Thieves, bans won't exactly be lined up here. It's Orianna banned away by the Thieves as C9 takes Kale off the table, getting rid of one of those incredible scaling options in the top side. Victor also banned out by 100.
And those range top laners are also very effective into GP. That's a matchup I really do like, and it's starting to see, you know, more play in pro. Will be interesting to see what else they are going to look to actually target here, you know, up towards Ssumday. Gwen GP is a matchup that a lot of people are pretty happy to play, and they think it is fairly skill-based, slightly favored towards the Gwen early on. And that is available if they wanted to go that route, but I do think 100 Thieves could also just draft the tank top and really look to play, you know, 4-5v5.
I think they could, because it's also hard to play split push compositions when you have a Lulu support. It's more of a team fight composition already from them. They also can still save top lane for a counter pick, because a jungler is not a hard thing to blind pick, which they could do right here.
Well,
but there's Gwen.
Nope, it looks like we're going to go ahead and lock that Gwen in for the side of 100 Thieves, so they will opt into that skill matchup like you were talking about.
Yeah, I do think it's slightly favored early on. If GP gets ahead, it goes really bad for Gwen because you have to be able to threaten the all-in to actually, you know, continually play this matchup well. GP just needs to poke and farm, so you can kind of be chilling no matter how you play it out. We'll see if there's going to be any sort of spice coming through. Don't get too baited, crowd. You're getting baited
I
here.
feel like that's what the teams are doing in this draft. They're seeing who can bait the crowd harder just with these different hovers of Darius and Aurelion Sol and Draven and Skarner. But we get the Gragas lock.
Not impressed with the Gragas.
Well, that's what we got.
What if it's a Gragas Yasuo? Then would you be impressed, crowd?
Well, Gragas Yasuo,
enough?
I'm not going to lie, that would be pretty exciting. I'll take Gragas Yasuo.
Okay, let's see if they can redeem themselves here.
It actually might be, or Gragas Yone. I mean, with the Gragas,
I'm down for that too.
You want an AD pick.
It's his
in the mid.
brother. It's close enough.
There we go. That
All right,
rounds
now
up.
they're happy. Now they're happy.
Gragas Yone, last two picks for C9.
We've now understood. They're willing to accept the Gragas if it means they get a Yone. It's like when you have to eat your vegetables before you get dessert, you know?
Yeah,
Gragas
it's a
is
trade.
really just the broccoli.
It's a trait, exactly. Scarf down the veggies, get straight to the ice cream.
It's Yone for dessert.
Well, unfortunately, 100 Thieves doesn't look like they're going to finish things quite as spicily. Instead, if junglers were seasoning, Volibear would be flour. So let's just... He's locked.
Cooked your steak. It's well done with some ketchup.
Oh, no. All right. Food analogies aside, gentlemen, how are we feeling about this now that we see all 10 of them?
That's all I can think of now, so Jatt, you answer.
Yeah, Jatt, you're up.
Cloud9's comp is a lot more colorful. There's more variety on there.
Oh, that's a good angle. I like that.
100 Thieves is very gray. Gray and blue. It's just a lot of neutral shades. But I'll say 100 Thieves definitely look like they have the stronger front-to-back teamfight composition. Huge amount of sustained damage coming out of the Azir and Gwen. Good front line with the Tahm, Kench, and Volibear. Whereas C9 needs to be able to play all over the map. A lot of pressure is actually going to be on Blaber and Jensen to find the right angles to engage and threat.
Absolutely. And Jensen did not... Man, I'm loving the crowd today. We're getting some hype with the light show going off. 100 Thieves, C9. It's going to be a really exciting game.
We've got light shows, we've got champion hover bamboozles, we've got everything a League of Legends crowd could want. But now, I just want to see some spicy early game, because that is going to be the icing on the cake. Oh! The online fans are talking trash with the fans that are here in the studio.
Now, see, what the guy in the crowd needs to do is go make another poster to respond.
Yeah.
And then we can show that poster later on, and they can have some beef going on.
Analog Twitter right there. Show it through signs.
Back in my day. Anyway, it doesn't look like we're going to get that level 1 spice that I was hoping for. We're actually not going to get a whole lot of anything. You can see one ward placed down by 100 Thieves on the red buff of C9 in the backside of the pit there. Thank you, observers. But other than that, man, not really a whole lot here.
Oh.
Hasn't updated the sign yet.
That's just a difference.
No, I think it's just a different sign. That would be incredibly fast if he redesigned the entire poster.
All right.
Yeah, with that level of detail, too.
Yeah.
Flowers, for your question, like, where would we see the early aggression? Huhi and FBI, like, if they don't want to get pushed in, they're going to try and get level 2 first and just engage right away. Because if you want to get on top of the Lulu, that would have to be their play. Or in trying to get level 2, Berserker or Zven could get very aggressive. If we don't see something here, I would say top lane is the most likely as GP or Gwen are trying to reset the wave.
Right, yeah. I mean, we always see top laners go for that type of a thing, right? Like, whoever gets prio, they're going to try to bounce the wave, try to get up there on that timing. Jensen versus Abbeddage here in the mid lane. I don't expect this one to probably be a whole lot of a target. I think they both have enough of an ability to get away that it's not really that big of a deal. But I guess we'll ultimately see what the junglers decide on. They are both still on the bottom half of the map, both of them starting down there. And once again, our shiny new tri-view camera showing us what all the lanes look like as Abbeddage roams out of his as he gets pushed up. It's C9 with complete control over the push here in bottom lane like you were talking about, and Fudge doing the same up in top side.
Actually, the same 2 lanes of prio that we saw in the last game. Bot and top is on the blue side, which is C9 prio, except Azir, Abbeddage does have the push in the mid lane. But this time, the junglers are actually swapped onto different sides of the map, so less likely we'd see a big contested stuff trap.
Jensen getting a little scrappy with Abbeddage here nice and early, snapping back for that little bit of bonus damage like Isaac was talking about. Of course, at low levels, it's not quite the mini Zed ulti that it feels like later on in the game, just a little bit of extra here. But it's 100 Thieves still just trying to farm up underneath these turrets. As you can see, it's the Volibear in the top side of the river here first, with Scuttle Crabs about to spawn.
Yeah, and you also saw that Ssumday, even though he was pushed in by GP, kept his health very high. So quite comfortable in that state. GP could move down, but Azir would match as well.
Yeah, GP's coming right now.
Yeah.
But and Jensen, you know, will he be able to actually hold this wave enough? So they're just going to give it up.
Yep.
Yeah, looks like they just back away, maybe look to send closer to the other one.
And that's actually great for C9 because Fudge actually just takes a recall. The CS, by the way, is clearly bugged on the scoreboard, so ignore that. It's trust me when I say at least one person has a CS.
Right there.
Jensen. Yes, right there. Just thank you. Thank you, Jatt.
Thank you for confirming. I appreciate that. Before I was pretty sure, but I wasn't positive.
He's about to get another one, I think.
Let's see.
21?
Let's. Yes!
Yeah, that's another one.
Nice.
At least 2.
Well done. Well done. But we do have a little bit of Roman coming out here from the Lulu as Berserker is left by himself here in the bottom lane. So FBI and Huhi are able to get back out from underneath the turret. Still, nobody making any big moves just yet. It will be one crab for one crab here with Cloud9 getting that one in the top and Closer rotating, getting the one in the bottom side. Instead, it is one camp up for Blaber, who does have a level 4 versus level 3 advantage down here in bottom lane. Berserker down to 200 HP, gets ignited, but he's close enough to the turret that he's able to stay safe. FBI has to flash away as both AD carries are taken pretty close to 0. FBI and Huhi still retreating here. Guardian procs to prevent any additional damage, and Berserker and Zven are right back to controlling the lane.
Yeah, 1 for 2 summoner spells, so very good by C9 being able to take that 2v2 advantage. I think their comp is better for winning lane 2v2, but it's still very early on in the life of the Berserker Zven lane, so nice to see them working together to get that advantage.
Fudge with a nice barrel there. Ssumday just dashing on right back away.
And Ssumday's got to be careful now because Fudge already had that base. You know, he took a cheater recall early, got the Sheen on his first buy, so that is really nice. I'm not sure if he was futures market to actually complete that because we didn't see how much CS he had when he went back.
Yep.
But either way, no buy yet for Ssumday. Is going to want to collect this wave before he does base, but you've got to be respectful when you're just on the D shield with no potions left. You're using the mist there to immune one of the Qs, but he wants to at least pick up most of his farm and prevent the wave from crashing before he actually gets back to base.
And while it can feel nice to ignore some of the damage from the Q with the mist's cooldown much longer than what Gangplank has there on his pistol with that parlay. So unfortunately for Ssumday, it's going to be a lot of this point-and-click trading pattern that can make Gangplank really frustrating for a lot of other melee champions, especially early on, as Jensen just wants to get this wave shoved up here in mid. There we go, picks up the cannon. Now he's able to take his opportunity and grab a reset. You guys mentioned earlier talking about how Gragas takes dragons slowly. This is not a great solo the objective type of jungler, but you don't need to solo it when bottom lane has this much control.
They had such a good timing, forcing FBI and Huhi into that recall. This will snap back a little bit of temporary pressure for 100 Thieves, but it's, again, a perfect time. 6 minutes, Herald's not up yet. Jensen also hit 6 first in mid lane, so Abbeddage couldn't follow over. That's how you do it if you're Gragas jungle team to be able to still get the first dragon.
Massive wave crashing up here topside that Ssumday can just clear out as Blaber, again, just rotating up to where they've got control over the top side of the river. They've got that wave shoved in that affords you more of these neutral resources with the Scuttle Crabs. C9's having a nice early game here.
Absolutely. I mean, Fudge's prio has gotten him both those top Scuttle Crabs here. But Ssumday still has not gone back to base yet, but has picked up him up farm now. Used the mist, I think, on that last trade, so may just go back, TP back here immediately to catch. We'll see if he actually wants to cancel that in mid lane, though.
I like seeing Jensen's aggressive trading here on the Yone. I always like to see people play these characters aggressively as you need to, especially into these ranged matchups, and just always try to go in. You know, whenever you've got that Q3, look for the knock-up, look for the E, look for the trade.
Well, and every time you have your E, it's really hard to actually trade back into the Yone because he can snap back whenever it starts going bad for him, and because he has the amp damage coming out of it, you know, you have to really do a good job of actually winning the trade very heavily for it to even go even by the time he snaps back. So it does make Yone really strong in these trading patterns, and again, in he goes, but can snap back.
But, yep, there it is. Sorry, that's your ulti, that's his E. He feels fine with that one.
Yep, still has a health potion left. I'd say Closer has had a very ineffective early game so far. Went up, lost that top crab because they didn't have the right lane prio, and lost a lot of efficiency when going for that. So you wouldn't expect a Gragas to have more CS as well as the first dragon. Closer had a very rough early game experience and impact-wise.
More CS, first dragon, and first to level 6. Closer still only sitting on level 5. I expect him to get that ulti from either the camp that he's currently doing or the red buff immediately after. Rift Herald is now spawning on the map, as you saw in the bottom left there, and as it spawns, it's Blaber who's already in the pit as they look to control more of the neutral game.
Absolutely. I mean, he is the faster 6, but also Abbeddage just spent his ultimate mid lane. Azir is not going to want to fight this with no items and no ulti at that Herald. So they have prio mid, they have prio top. C9 are just kind of winning out through the laning right now. They see Closer moving down as he cleared out that ward in Tribrush. But if Closer were to commit to this, he knows he would be in trouble.
Yeah, it's mid-prio for Jensen. Yone's walking up there. He has his ult. Volibear wants nothing to do with this. He's just going to have to walk away. C9 get that. 100 Thieves under pressure here in the bottom lane, and Gangplank contributing with the ulti. Huhi and FBI still try to get away. They will escape thanks to the power of Tahm Kench. But C9 trying to make a move down here as back up in top side. It's Ssumday unleashing the ulti here on Fudge. Takes him low, but Fudge is able to get away. Blaber's coming in. It's a snip the other way, and and he's cut to pieces. The big man with the first blood.
Ssumday tries to go for the punish because Fudge uses ulti bot side, so he goes for the immediate all-in. But Hex Drinker, it looked like, keeping him alive there. As Blaber arrives top, they clean up this wave. Closer is here, so you gotta pay some respect to that.
Oh, Jensen
wants it.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah, I think if that lands, Jensen, he'd already used his R in another trade off screen, so a ton of action had just been happening there, but still a nice set of wins there for Cloud9. I'd say in the short term, the bot lane was actually advantage of 100 Thieves, but because Ssumday tried to punish while the ultimate was down, it ends up being a bigger win for C9.
Feels bad for Ssumday, man. He got it close, but as you pointed out, that Hex Drinker, that priority on the laning item that will give you that extra survivability meant so much.
Well, I actually think it's a really, really smart buy because not only is Gwen magic damage, Azir is pure magic damage, Volibear is actually also a fair bit of magic damage. So when you're kind of triple AP for what it's worth on that top side, it is going to be incredibly effective. Yes, it does slow down the spike towards Triforce, but the only way Gwen can play this matchup again is if you have the all-in threat.
Uh-oh, Ben. Flashing away, recognizing he was in a really bad place. So we'll see if 100 Thieves can punish that further. Now that Summoner Spell's not available, send somebody down there, get closer involved. Unfortunately, gentlemen, we are now 10 minutes and 15 seconds into the game, and Volibear is 0-0-0.
Yeah, you're very disappointed. Watching this one more time, though, you can, like, you understand why Ssumday is going for this play. Okay.
We don't have time for it right now. Jensen tries to make the move. The turret shot chases him down. They both live with 50 HP.
Oh my God. Jensen didn't want to snap back early, so he flashed over the wall there to try to get the last little bit of lethal damage. That would have been sick if he was able to finish it off, but Senna ulti helping out there as well.
Blaber just going to give him the ult?
He's got Black.
Just ult.
Okay. Nope. Okay.
Makes sense.
Turret plate instead. Safe, respectful, less exciting.
Speaking of turret plates, also only about 1/3 of the timer left on that Herald in Blaber's pocket. C9 have to decide where they want to use that soon. Ssumday, though, going in, looking for Fudge again. Has the ulti ready, goes back in. More Q, more R, all of the damage. He's trying to cut him off. Fudge slows him down, but Ssumday gets his 1v1.
Has the chase down there. Gwen ulti just so much shorter cooldown there. Fudge used his ult the same time as Ssumday used his. But the Gwen ulti is up. He finds the window to get the all-in there, even through the Hex Drinker. That is a huge kill for Ssumday.
And that's with no Ignite on the Gwen. You can see that cooldown timer is still just about to become ready. Still very scary and hitting exactly what you guys were talking about. He is letting him know, I have all-in potential. I have threat. You have to respect it.
And it's something that Fudge definitely wasn't keeping track of, just being pushed up, trying to get a little bit of plate gold, because I think Cloud9 was in a very comfortable spot in this game. I think part of that is the upgraded boots on Ssumday, just allowing him to run down Fudge with the assistance of the slow from his ultimate. So that kind of makes up for the really low CS numbers that 100 Thieves is at. Their entire team is below 100 at 12 minutes, which is very abnormal, actually. But the kills, especially from Ssumday top.
Well, they can dive here. He's 6. Turn it off.
Well, here we go. Time to turn off that turret. Or, nope, C9 doesn't want to give him the chance. They're just going to back away. Jensen goes in. And once again, just the ability to cause that level of threat, to make Azir trade his ultimate for your E. Yone controlling the pace of this match.
I mean, Yone can spike so early. When you do just go Berserker Greaves into a Zeal, it's so efficient, with that early spike of gold. It does slow down the Mythic, of course, but on the top side, they do take down their tier 1. Somebody will be able to prevent a second charge coming through, but C9, nearly a 2,000 gold lead here between that tower going down and the free money that GP is printing.
Yeah, I think pretty important to be able to get them that first turret, because they don't want Ssumday to be able to have that side lane threat throughout this game. It's really important, especially when you have a range support, that your side lanes can be winning, so it's easier for you to take space around objectives. So a lot of times I'd like to see that Herald drop mid lane, since it's usually a more important lane, but in this case, I like getting the gold on Gangplank.
Well, we will have the second Herald to still consider when that spawns here in a couple of minutes. Remember that C9 took the first one without any contest because of their control over the lanes surrounding it. Looking back here at mid lane, the teleport will bring Abbeddage right back in. So now he's ready. You can see the item completion. Leandri's done there on the Azir. As they go in, Jensen wanting the knock up there with the ulti, just barely misses out on max range, but it won't matter. Or will it? Blaber immuning that last turret shot. Fudge makes sure that he takes the aggro immediately as Closer's not able to follow it up, and C9 1-0 there.
Teamwork makes the dream work. You can miss your ultimate, but he still has the next knockup, and the team decides to continue to go for it. The lane gets even harder for Abeddage as Jensen is able to assist on that kill.
Volibear's about to go right into the Gangplank world as Fudge can just say, nah, yeah, I'm going to harass you here for this one. Ssumday's heading down, though, so Fudge knows it's time to leave. He does not want to be dealing with this 1v2 situation. FTX total gold on the left side of your screen here. That is a lot of blue at the top of the charts, my friends.
Top 4, all the carries there. Zven way down at the bottom, but honestly, who cares? It's a Lulu. Don't really need to do much as far as the farming is concerned there.
Looking good for C9. 2,000 gold lead, 14 minutes into the game. Plates have now fallen, so no more extra money to be claimed from those. You can see it really just was that one turret that C9 took there in the top lane with that first Herald. 100 Thieves, however, are first into the pit for Herald number 2. They've got Abeddage rotating over. Bot laners getting into what could be a little bit of a scrap over this crab, never mind. But still, there's nobody from C9 heading up to the Rift Herald pit. This one's confirmed for 100 Thieves.
And 100 Thieves were able to grab back a dragon of their own, so obviously stopping any potential stack towards Soul. The game has been very passive, but it has been C9 creating advantages, which puts the onus on 100 Thieves. You know, if you are slowly creating these incremental advantages on the side of Cloud9, there's no reason for you to really push the pace of the game.
Abeddage jumping in here, looking for a little damage on Jensen, eats some back, but neither one of them really taking a whole lot of hurting just yet. Closer, level 9, Blaber, level 10, maintaining that advantage in the jungle that he's had all game long, pretty much. Closer still has not found a way to get involved in any of these kills. The one attempt where they were trying to bring him down bottom lane, C9 got back in time. Now he'll move into the enemy jungle, not gonna find anything there either, but they could make this dive. Closer, can he get it? Back into mid, Jensen looking for Abeddage, meanwhile bottom, Closer still looking to make the play. Abeddage getting away back in mid as Berserker looks to fight in a 1v3. Gangplank ulti mid ain't gonna do it, but Closer gets the kill on Berserker.
Just as soon as you spoke about him not being able to get an impact, he gets the kill down there. I think both moves bot lane have been very productive for them. The first one pushed Berserker and Zven off the wave, burned the GP ult, and gave them an experience advantage. The second one gets the kill and summoner spells and ultimates from Berserker. So 100 Thieves keeping competitive by playing through that Senna Tahm Kench.
Yeah, really nice, and it even allows them to finish off the tower, right? That they had softened up on that earlier play as well. So the pressure that was put on there on that bottom side from Closer, definitely paying dividends now. But Cloud9 still in the advantage here. Has been just non-stop Abeddage under threat, and he's actually down 40 CS now, which has become a bit of a familiar position for him this split. His laning really has been a liability. You know, against Maple, he was down 70 to 80 CS. You know, against Jojopian, even with Jojopian dying and giving him over first blood, he had been pressured very heavily there. So Abeddage really needs to step up in these laning phases, and again here today, it is Jensen just constantly putting the pressure on him.
But on that same topic, I do have to give him credit because you're talking about the bad laning phases, and while I agree, like the Ahri games are what's coming to mind, like the Ahri lanes were just rough, but then as the game went on, as he got the Everfrost and he found his playmaking tools, he really did find pick after pick and a lot of setup for his team, so that's the challenge. That's what he's got to do here on the Azir now as well. We've seen pretty much all of his ultis just be trying to yeet Yone off of him and get away from this. So now that we're going to start getting into bigger fights, it feels like I want to see the value that we can get out of that Emperor's Divide for 100 Thieves. Third Drake of the game has spawned. Both teams at 1 each, like you guys said earlier, meaning nobody's exactly looking for a soul point just yet, but 100 Thieves are committing a TP to this. They want to fight for it.
I mean, it's a 5v5. Fudge actually calls off the flank because Ssumday would be able to mark him, and it's just eye contact in the river here, which does have the advantage for the team with the better front line, which is 100 Thieves, and they just brute force C9 off this Drake.
Yeah, I mean, Blaber's down to half health already. Zven had eaten a little bit of poke there. No way for them to actually get in here, so 100 Thieves, they do commit the TP, but they're able to secure their third straight objective, their neutral objective, you know, grabbing last 2 dragons, grabbing that second Herald. It's been pretty good for them over these last couple minutes.
Especially considering they're still down a couple thousand gold. If you can go 3 neutral objectives in a row while being down that amount of money, it means you're doing something right with the way you're moving around the map. As Blaber, now gonna get locked up there by the Senna, tries to disengage, but Closer stays on him. Lands the damage from the E. Blaber with a bit of a late flash. He's still down. 100 Thieves, nice pick.
This last sequence has been very bad for Cloud9, not only in results, but also for what it could mean later. So looking at 100 Thieves team comp, they have more range. So if they can set up on objectives like that and just have eye contact against Cloud9, they'll be able to push them out. C9 needs to be able to win in the side lanes, but if Fudge actually can't push out Ssumday and Jensen can't make too much ground against Abeddage, 100 Thieves technically would be able to have the setup time and time again, and it's just icing on the cake if they can pick off Blaber like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just seemed like, to me, Blaber wasn't really respecting the potential that he could die there, right?
No.
He could have just flashed early on the Senna W, and he would have just walked out, right? You know, but at the same time, it's a great pick from 100 Thieves. And I agree, Jatt. You know, if they are forcing them into these 5v5s, then Cloud9, they're going to have to kind of depend upon execution with the engages, right? You're going to have to try to come from multiple angles, have the Yone and the Gragas knocking in one of these carries, killing them off instantly. Because if you're slow rolling it, you're going to get poked out, just like we saw what happened at that Dragon. You know, Blaber is very squishy on this Gragas.
Yep.
You eat much poke whatsoever, you can no longer fight.
And he really needs to complete the Zonias. I think that's going to allow him to play a little bit more of a front line, but it's still not going to be able to match like a Tahm, Kench, Volibear in terms of their ability to peel and apply CC to people that are trying to engage.
And that Tahm Kench being able to save somebody in these fights means a lot too, because then if you do have Yone trying to go in or a big Gragas coming in trying to take somebody out with a barrel, the ability for Huhi to find the clutch saves if he needs them could also be a huge game breaker, playmaker. Here at this midpoint of the game, 20 minutes in, Baron is now spawned. Top lane tier 1 fell. You saw Fudge try to protect it there with the ulti, but it didn't work.
Yeah, it was a good read from 100 Thieves. The solo laners knowing that they had enough damage to actually kill it even in the face of the GP ulti. I think a lot of people would have just backed off, but last 2 minions were enough for them to knock it down, get the trade, so GP can't just take that for free.
And Ssumday trying to steal away that enemy blue buff, but as Jensen showed up, he did not want to risk sticking around and finding himself in a bad spot where he could get punished. Still 2,000 gold lead for Cloud9, despite the praises that we've been singing for 100 Thieves, but it really does feel like they're the ones who've got the momentum. They're the ones who've got the control, and they're the ones who are going to decide where our next fight is going to be.
Yeah, Azael, you mentioned in one of your casts yesterday, the gold doesn't actually matter. It's the completed items that do.
Yeah.
And the mythic completions on both sides are very equal. At that point, you start looking at team compositions, and we can see why 100 Thieves is in what looks to be control despite the 2,000 gold deficit.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what I was talking about yesterday is just for like what I use in my own games is that, you know, you don't have an accurate calculation of what the total gold difference is. So I just look at item completions, right? You compare across, you say, all right, you know, this guy has a mythic and part of a component. You know, this guy has mythic and part of components. You know, it's relatively similar. You look at things like that. If you're a mythic complete on both sides and one person has, you know, components for another, you know that they're significantly ahead, right? You just kind of have to calculate through that. And that's what I think most people do, and that's how pros look at it too. It's more about feel. It's not that pros have an accurate read of, oh, we're 5.4 thousand gold behind right now.
And as we're talking about items, the Zhonya's Hourglass completed for Abeddage just now. That one's going to be huge because it lets him go in, make those big shuffles to try to really start off the play and then not immediately die after, while also not requiring Tahm Kench to be right in there to save him.
Absolutely, and I'm looking at Senna's soul count right now, being at 88. That's pretty good for 22 minutes into the game. I've noticed around 120 is when Senna starts to get a little ridiculous with the range. It's like, it's when it feels longer than should be natural, and you'll see the Senna kind of taking half health before anyone can retaliate. So that timer is going to be hit before 30 minutes. And C9, I think, needs to have a good engage at this Dragon. They have the bottom lane pushed up right now, so let's see what they can do.
All right, Abeddage will be a little bit slower to this one than the rest of 100 Thieves. Closer walking closer to him. As now they're turning it back towards Berserker, but Abeddage is going to be knocked in. There's that Zhonya's I was talking about, but it ain't going to buy enough. Cloud9, nice pick. Gangplank ulti. Yone! Jensen coming over the wall. Ready to go with the Yone, but he snaps right on back into position. Cloud9 have killed the enemy mid laner. They have lost none of their own men, and they have earned themselves control over this river.
That was a huge engage there from Blaber. Abeddage feeling like he was safe because he had the Zhonya's available. But even with that, Huhi was not able to actually close the gap to save him with the Tahm Kench ulti, so he even has to flash out defensively, cost them a lot. They will lose the Dragon, so 100 Thieves will not be able to move to Soul Point here. But at the end of the day, it is just one Dragon and the kill and a trade of some summoners on both sides.
Gold lead extends, Dragons become equal, but with how good that engage was, Abeddage buys a little bit of time, but basically, guys, to just get the one kill, and then as the Dragon was happening, you actually saw FBI Huhi just won the mid lane. Like, they're able to push the Zeri Lulu off even before the Mythic is completed for FBI, so it's a setback for 100 Thieves, but still a very close game.
Nicely done from C9 there, getting themselves that pick at just the right time. And it's kind of the opposite of what we were talking about a little bit in the last game, where we saw flashes and ultis used to get a pick that didn't turn into anything. When you get the pick, can sometimes be just as important as getting it in the first place.
And a lot of this is just about the spread between the Tahm Kench, and Tahm Kench way down here, so it's a lot of distance to cover. Huhi does go for the W to try to get in range for the ulti, but they're able to burst him down. Nicely timed body slam there from Blaber to help finish off that kill. Fudge with the Q as well, and then Huhi just has to flash out. And Jensen, unfortunately, was a very long-range E. Had he just R'd forward and then E'd, you know, maybe been able to actually stay in the fight a little bit longer and finish off some of those kills, but got a tremendous amount of damage out.
Yep.
Just wasn't able to actually finish them off.
So what's the game now here for 100 Thieves, boys? Because they're down 3,500 gold. Yes, the Drakes are even, but if Cloud9 is just able to jump on you like that, what are they going to do?
I mean, I don't think they should be that worried. You know, if I'm on 100 Thieves' side, I just say, well, you're too far from the Tahm Kench. If I devoured you there, we win that fight, right? And they do have incredible scaling with Azir and Senna, so play it slow.
And they catch Berserker out. I asked the question, and 100 Thieves deliver the answer, or do they? They try to go after C9, but it's Closer who's stuck in the stasis and punished. Fudge makes his way in, and they're looking for even more. Nice shuffle shows up, and 100 Thieves is able to fight back. Double kill of it to Jensen. Abbeddage in a stasis himself. Ssumday looking to drain tank. He gets the health bars low, but nobody dies. Cloud9, 4 for nothing.
How did Berserker stay alive? He took the entirety of 100 Thieves cooldowns, stayed alive. 100 Thieves wins the huge fight, and now they're going to be in control of the game.
C9, man, that is what they wanted right there.
Oh,
FBI just gonna get jumped on by the Yone. A little more damage. There's the proc.
Yeah, you get late into the game. He's got that E-Max. The damage comes through so heavily. At the end of it, it's 5 for 0 plus the Baron. Now 7.5K in the gold lead. We can watch this one more time. It's 100 Thieves looking for the play. I don't think they need to play
They're
so
not
quick.
coordinated. Look at where Gwen is. Ssumday is in the middle of a recall as they're flying into this fight. So they actually hard engage in this 4v4. The GP ultimate makes it about a 4.5. Then he can TP in actually first. So 100 Thieves forced way too hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fudge arriving here does land the nice barrel. Abbeddage sees a window here as C9 stacks up to go in. Zven, great flash to avoid it. And Berserker just barely skirting out. And Berserker even hanging around in the pit here. This is cheeky. The Q over the wall, timing out of the Zonias, even at such low health, stays alive. They're able to get it all.
C9 are, wow, loving that one. 4,342 damage from Fudge. Topping the damage meters for that one. Just absolutely bombing them with the ulti and the TP into the middle of everybody. And now C9 are set to really expand this gold lead and take over the game. They're taking down the tier 2s. They've got the Baron pushing multiple lanes. 100 Thieves is in full survival mode trying to weather this storm, and C9 are not letting up on the pressure. Ssumday trying to at least secure the camps before Cloud9 take over the entirety of the jungle, but C9 is really looking to choke them out here.
Yeah, the items they've been able to complete make them very powerful at this moment. Jensen also level 16, a 2-level advantage over Abbeddage, and you can also see, like, with the current power of level 16 Fudge, they can just chunk out that Senna before the heals come in.
Oh, and Huhi having to use the Devour there to keep FBI safe. That is a big defensive cooldown, no longer available for the Thieves. C9 backing away now. They got 45 seconds before the Drake spawns. They're going to reset and be ready for that one.
Exactly, and they'll still actually have that Baron buff during that spawn. So, you know, going to be a lot stronger. I don't think 100 Thieves are really going to be in position to be able to contest this.
Yeah.
C9 intelligently didn't wait too long. They went back to spend up all the gold that they've actually gained from this Baron to be at maximum power here for this next fight. You can see Chemtech Putrefier just finished up there for Zven. That's another big buy. But we can watch this one more time. I think it's just the barrel over the wall showcasing how much damage he's doing at this point.
Hello.
Boom!
And he doesn't even have an IE, by the way.
Yeah, casual 65% of FBI's health.
Yeah. Oh, no problem. Zavori quick plays to make sure they can spam more abilities in fights now. He bops you with the sword over and over again. C9 shoving up that mid wave. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second till the Drake spawns. Honestly, you just send Blaber down there. He doesn't need any help with it. Everybody else just keeps the waves pushed up. You still have 20 seconds left on this Baron, so they want to enchant those waves, get as much value out of that buff as they can. Things are going to end up with around a 9,000 gold lead for C9 as the Baron buff fades. And for 100 Thieves, it's just such a difficult spot to play from now.
And I hate to be that guy.
Well, I think it sounds like you're about to be that guy.
Yeah, whenever you start that way, you're gonna do that. But people have been complaining about slow games, right? However, I think 100 Thieves was in a pretty good position as they force again.
Well, Volibear can't catch Lulu.
I think last game FlyQuest was also in a really good position.
Yeah.
If they are just patient, they have, like, 100 Thieves composition needs to wait. They do not have engage tools, yet they just burn everything flying into C9, and it lost them 8,000 gold. If they can win the mid lane trade over and over again, if we go back 5 minutes ago, push out, control Dragon, wait for C9 to try and engage, and then counter it with your Tahm, Kench, your Azir. They're trying to fly into Gwen, which is super hard, but they just couldn't help themselves to try and engage, and now they're down 9,000 gold.
Yeah, their eyes got a little bit too big. I mean, you see this angle where you think you can get even more, but when you're playing Azir Senna, you honestly don't really have to do anything except kind of just chill and farm. You know, just vibing out. Put on some tunes, get some souls.
Well, Blaber's going in now. They might have some problems. Abbeddage is gone. Closer's gonna join them. 100 Thieves have lost mid and jungle, with the remaining players heading for the hills. Huhi takes a little bit of damage. He'll stay alive just fine. Berserker will zone them away as the tier 2 turret falls here in the top lane. C9 just looking to continue this push, Baron or not. Fudge is going to make sure he's got threat in another lane just so they always have multiple things for 100 Thieves to answer, as Berserker and the rest of C9 will now head into the tier 3 top lane. Huhi getting jumped on. Jensen leading the way. There comes your fate sealed, but it's not quite enough. Tahm Kench, very tanky. Jensen just snaps right on back to the rest of the team, and top lane inhib will fall.
And C9 is vibing right now. They're just able to use cooldowns at will with Azir down and Gwen in the base. There's no damage to retaliate, and also it's gonna get worse before it gets better for 100 Thieves. C9 did all of this before any of their 3 carries had completed IE. Berserker, Jensen, they have them now, and Fudge is
real soon. Honestly, if you're C9, you're ready to just put your foot back on the gas pedal and get this one wrapped up.
You want to finish it up.
Yeah, even though I've been saying other teams should be passive, C9, that's not the play here. They need to use these 2 Infinity Edges they just completed and continue to hammer home this advantage. Baron up in 50 seconds. I don't think they need to wait for a Cloud Soul. They should immediately start taking control of that top jungle and try and get Baron.
I'd just love to see C9 go 4 bot, have Fudge push in mid, let the supers push in top, utilize that Baron buff. As soon as people have to respond to the supers up on that Nexus tower, or an additional person has to go mid lane to actually answer GP, then you dive bot, you finish out the game like that. It should be pretty straightforward for C9. We'll see if they're going to be able to execute on that, or if 100 Thieves can really throw a wrench in the gears.
Well, Baron in 20 seconds, C9 clearing out vision from the 100 Thieves red side jungle, putting down those control wards of their own, taking away whatever resources they can find. 100 Thieves look like they might just be thinking about coming up to contest this. It's that hard part of the game where you have such a low chance to win. You have to figure out which is slightly higher, 0.1% or 0.15% chance of victory, depending on if you fight for the Baron or not. They'll try to push out as much as they can. They'll try to give themselves as good of a shot as possible to maybe contest if that's the call they end up making. But with C9's tools between these barrels from Gragas, these barrels from GP, the difficulty of engaging into a Lulu in general, it's just so difficult.
And Azael, they're doing somewhat of what you suggested. GP just solo in that bot lane. The other 4 mid, someone is going to have to respawn from 100 Thieves.
And it cannot be Ssumday. He doesn't have the teleport. So it's only Abbeddage that's able to go down there and answer Fudge and still be able to join in the Baron fight if that's what they want to do. 100 Thieves still staying grouped up, seeing if maybe they can find something here. Knocking the Banshee's Veil off of Blaber. FBI stepping up, but he doesn't get caught out by the Gragas ulti here. C9 still looking. Jensen going in. Looks for the Fate Seal. Devour from Huhi. Going to keep the AD carry safe, but Tahm Kench himself eating a lot. As Closer goes up into the ulti, trying to stay alive. Jensen finds his way right back into the fight. Ssumday's in stasis, but it's going to be a nice golden tombstone. Berserker gets the kill, and Fudge has zoned Abbeddage away. Jensen's unstoppable. Abbeddage, run away, Chicken Lord! There's no way to survive the bullets in the back, and that'll do it. C9, they didn't even need the Baron. They'll take the fight. They'll take the game right here.
They find the fight. They utilize that massive gold lead, and C9, with the intended starting roster, they're going to clean up the 2-0 weekend.
From 0-3 to 2-0, C9 feeling good about that one. 14-3 on the scoreboard. They'll stomp 100 Thieves.
Zven back in the LCS, still undefeated as an LCS support. Tahm Kench, Lulu 2-0.
But I see the greatest support of all time, 100% win rate in the LCS.
Stats don't lie. But also, Jensen had a much better Yone game than the first time around.
You guys are such troll. Stats don't lie. We're being absolutely dishonest, but they don't lie.
We lie, the stats don't lie.
We lie using the honest stats.
All right. Very good stuff from Cloud9, though, coming out to a 2-0 week after the rough 0-3 start. Fudge, you can see he's just absolutely elated with the
He's
victory
looking at
there.
the stat screen, 100%. He's seeing who did the most damage.
Wow, Zven still has a 100% win rate.
Yeah, really good stuff. Seems good. Seems good. C9 2-3 in the records now overall. 100 Thieves. They're going to want that one back. Looking back at the mid lane, looking back at trying to force that play onto Berserker that just didn't work. Even the way you guys were talking about, Ssumday looking for a recall at that time, so it's like they weren't even on the same page to begin with. 100 Thieves got some comms issues to clean up, it seems like.
I mean, I think those calls are always hard because you don't want to be too passive of a team, because if you go too far that way, you're just giving up opportunities. So they obviously saw a window there. They weren't quite able to actually make it happen. If it does work, then they get Baron, and then they're the ones winning the game. But in this case, when they're already down, they just don't really have a good enough force, and I do think they could have played it more slowly, but it's so tough to know in these moments, because when you see an opportunity to engage, it has to be instant.
I do want to see how this team evolves throughout the summer split, though, because they had that slow start in spring, then found their identity again. But I think I agree with you where you say the big part of their identity was, let's dive. And like dives are just bad now in a lot of the early game situations.
They're way harder to pull off.
It's a team that really wants to play aggressive. They're good at playing aggressive, but they didn't have a team composition that wanted them to do that this game. And the early game changes didn't make it possible to do at 3 and 4 minutes.
Well, it ended up a massive victory for C9, and now we're joining the Tigress and